In the morning when I rise, give me Jesus.
Good morning. Yesterday, we talked about how God promises to give you peace. When you have struggles, He said, come to me, put them in my hands, and trust me with them. Be thankful that I'll take care of you. And I will guard your heart and your mind with perfect peace. That's the promise of God. In Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 3, the prophet Isaiah says this, God, you will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you. Do you trust God? Is your mind stayed on him? Then you will walk in perfect peace. That's a promise of God. Well, today I want to talk about how in that peace we have rest. God said, I will go with you. I will stay with you. When you are with me, you can be at rest. In Exodus chapter 33 and verse 14, God's talking to Moses and he says this, Moses, my presence will go with you and I will give you rest. You don't have to pull the load. I will do it. When you hang out with me, I've got you. In Matthew, Jesus said the same thing. Chapter 11, verse 28 says, come to me, all of you who are weary and heavy laden. Does that describe you? Then Jesus said, come to me and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Oh, take my yoke upon you. Cheryl and I ministered in Africa, and when we were there, we saw kids that yoked a strong cow to a weak cow because the weak cow could not pull the load. And so as they were together, the strong cow directed the small cow and pulled the heavy load. God said, yoke yourself up to me because I'm able. I will pull the load and you can be at rest. That's a promise of God. Look at Mark chapter 2 and verse 27. There is a big conversation about, is the Sabbath rest, is the Sabbath day Saturday or Sunday? There's a whole denomination built around Saturday is the Sabbath day, not Sunday. Well, it was Saturday because that was the seventh day, and God created all of creation in 6 days, and on the seventh day he rested because he was done with all his work. Well, we learn in Mark chapter 2, verse 27, that Jesus is talking and he says the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. We don't have to be concerned about following some rule about what day is Sabbath day. Jesus said the Sabbath was made for us. We're to rest. And now in Hebrews, come with me to Hebrews chapter 4 and look at verse 7. There's a whole conversation about rest. I encourage you to look at Hebrews 3:12 through Hebrews 4:11, and you will see the conversation about rest, how it's all based on having faith in God. But in verse 7, it says that God again has fixed a day of rest. And it's today. So today we rest in God. And tomorrow the day of rest is today. Every day the day of rest is today. Look at verse 9. There remains a Sabbath rest for the people of God. It's every day as we rest in Jesus. For the one who has entered his rest has himself also rested from his works, as God did from his. And so, let us be diligent to enter that rest so that no one will fall through the following of the same example of unbelief. That's what that scripture says. The word there is disobedience, but we see in context that the disobedience was unbelief, not believing God, not trusting God. And so, when we come to Jesus, when we trust God with everything that He promised, we can be at rest. And He wants us to have our rest in Jesus. Jesus is our Sabbath, and it's every day with Him. Oh, behold that today and be rested. We'll talk some more about God's promises tomorrow. God bless you in your restful day today.
Give me Jesus. Give me Jesus.